back to Matthew if you're not there already. Chapter 9. Matthew chapter 9. Okay. And he starts here with, Jesus passed forth from thence, and he saw a man named Matthew. He saw a man. What's significant about this is, he doesn't tell us anything about where he comes from, doesn't tell us anything about his mother and father. If you look in the other two gospel writers, they say Levi, the son of Alphaeus, and remember Levi and Matthew, the same person. But Matthew himself doesn't say anything about it. He just says there's just this man. And what I think is interesting about that is at the beginning of Matthew, what's the first thing you read in the Gospel of Matthew? That great genealogy. It goes on for something like 17 verses where he's talking about the genealogy of the Lord Jesus. So it's not that he's not concerned with those kind of things, but when he comes to himself, he just says, look, I'm just a man. That's all I am. I'm a man, and my name happens to be Matthew. What he's saying in effect is, I think, whatever happened up to this point, up to the point where he met Jesus, is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. He's saying, it doesn't matter where I come from. It doesn't matter what I did before this. This is the important fact. He's just centering your attention upon this one meeting between him and Jesus. And he's saying, I don't have to go into great detail about where I was and what I did. This is what's important. There was this man whose name was Matthew, and Jesus came to him. And it's interesting because, you know, we're growing up in an evangelical church, growing up from my late teens, I should say, until now. Would you call that growing up? I don't know. But from my teens until now, I heard many testimonies of people who've been delivered by God, and some of them start with, you know, I was born in the year, you know, and they go on from the day they were born. And others even go back before that and say, well, my mother and father, and they give you a little bit of background history, and they come all the way through to the time that they were saved. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but what I'm saying is, what's amazing about this verse, and I must have read it many times, is that you get none of that with Matthew. He doesn't go into any great detail about it. He just centers in on this one point where he says, here's a man, his name's Matthew, and he met Jesus.